Hello, I am Brian Foster, and I'm bringing to you another video about Spiritism. And today I'm talking about living life forward, what having multiple lives means to you. But before I begin, please subscribe, hit the bell. I give out live streams on Sundays and Tuesdays so you can be notified when I live stream. Now let's get right into it. We all have regrets, things we did wrong, people we brushed off that we later wished we embraced, cruel and unthoughtful acts done. The list can be large. But think of each of our wrongful actions as learning points and promise to never, or at least try, to do them again. Then each deficit becomes an asset. By changing our attitude and character for the better, even by the path of ignorant acts, is a small victory. After all, we are on earth to learn, not to stay static. Hence, we must do, we must explore. Sometimes that means we stumble upon the wrong path. As long as we grow from the experience by becoming more understanding and caring, as opposed to becoming bitter or angry, then we have achieved something. This is why we must travel through multiple lives. We learn by doing. Allan Kardec, in the Spirits book, his codification of the third revelation for many high-level spirits, led by the Spirit of Truth, tells us why we are incarnated, reborn in a different body for each life. Question 132, what is the aim of the incarnation of spirits? And the answer is, it is a necessity imposed on them by God, as a means of attaining perfection. For some of them it is an expiation, for others a mission. In order to attain perfection, it is necessary for them to undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence. It is the experience acquired by expiation that constitutes its usefulness. Incarnation also has another aim, namely that of fitting the spirit to perform his share in the work of creation, for which purpose he is made to assume a corporeal apparatus in harmony with the material state of each world into which he is sent, and by means of which he is enabled to accomplish the special work in connection with that world which has been appointed to him by the divine ordering. He is thus made to contribute his quota towards the general weal while achieving his own advancement. This is all part of the process of spiritual maturation. We can either resist it and delay our progress as long as possible, or embrace the need for change and accelerate our ascendance. It is up to each individual. The Supreme Intelligence has granted us free will to be as open or closed-minded as we so choose. Now let's talk about the mindset of moving forward. We start out young and immature. Even in the trajectory of our lives, we start out as primitive beings, but we are meant to grow. The Spirit Joanna in the book Self-Discovery and Inner Search explains the road to spiritual ascension. This is what she says. The human being is constituted of psychological implements that govern one's life. Human beings need to adapt their goals to spiritual values. The latter should surpass the corporeal boundaries in order to help the human being to meet the transcendental conscience. Naturally, at first, educational goals will form the individual's wealth of knowledge. Familiar goals will induce learning in the domestic laboratory by developing feelings of love and personal relationships. Social goals will extend the circle of affectivity, favoring the group's growth. Economic objectives will foment the financial equilibrium and harmony between people. Artistic goals will contribute to beauty, aesthetics, and the ideal. However, spiritual objectives will crown the achievements of the individual's progress, leading one to fullness. When men and women are not aware of their tentative steps towards fullness, they often find themselves saturated and unmotivated, becoming pessimists and frustrated after conquering their goals. So, she told us that hence The addition of spiritual goals supplies the forward motion to continue improvement. By focusing on temporary materialistic objectives, the clock finally runs out. Either you achieve everything you sought, or you realize some things are unattainable. Then you are prone to looking back and regretting every mistake. On the other hand, keeping your focus forward spiritually enables you to escape the boundaries of one physical life. Instead, your trek becomes an internal quest for perfection. Joanna explains the results of a dedicated effort for spiritual improvement. The individual's incessant renewal of values for one's improvement becomes a permanent motivation for the settlement of the real being that is victorious over oneself. The immediate human goals are stimulating for one's terrestrial, corporeal existence. When one adds to one's goals identification with cosmic conscience, they remain as propellant force for endless progress. To the world's eyes, triumphant men and women are perhaps those who shine on earth. They step up towards illusory success. However, they carry heavy anguish within their hearts, and their spirits are full of pain. The only ones who will find real fullness are those who free themselves and love, after traveling through difficulties and surpassing the initial steps of Earth's process at the social, familial, and personal levels. Those individuals remain focused on the general wellness and are transformed interiorly, as well as enlightened by the flame of immortality and immersed in that by causality. So, Joanna is correct. As we work to reform ourselves, we feel the propellant forces driving us on. We still experience our selfish and prideful periods and a host of other primitive emotional states. But we know we are making progress. We just need to be aware that it will take more lifetimes to transform our entire personality and character for the better. As we strive for spiritual perfection and travel through life doing less harmful acts, each of our subsequent lives will become more fulfilling, less stressful, and ever more beneficial to ourselves and others around us. We shall become a beacon of light and inspiration to others. Learn the path to achieve spiritual growth. Read my book, How to Live Inner Peace Through Spiritism. It will teach you step by step, as told by a spirit, the road to spiritually ascend. God bless.